Good evening, Cognitive Gamer. Can you please tell me why your entire household and all of your roommates sound like if you were walking through a sorority house?
I live with 2 girls.
That
And
sounded
those
like
girls-
3 girls, though.
And I live with girls who have friends that are also women.
So you live with girls, and they have friends that are women. So how old are the girls that live with you?
Old enough to party.
Okay.
Old enough to intermix girls and women.
Okay.
Gotcha. I think they're all roughly 21-ish or above.
Did you know these girls beforehand?
I knew one girl, one woman, one ma'am.
One madam.
Right.
One milady.
My neck beard is very strong this year.
It is. So is my fedora.
My fedora, yeah, right? My collection is growing tenfold ever since moving in with ladies.
Yes. Continue, my lord.
I knew one for my program, and then the other one was thrusted upon me.
Except because we're talking about Nymphomaniac Volume 2, which is awesome.
Oh, if any of my roommates walked in at the wrong moment, that stupid movie.
Wait, you were watching it, and do they just walk into your room without
sometimes
knocking?
Well, they knock, and then if I open the door and I left it on or something because I wasn't thinking, it's a movie, and there's just giant black cocks.
Okay. Just a straight up. Okay, okay. So anyway,
spoilers.
First off,
for Nymphomaniac
giant black penises. But yeah. Anyway,
yeah. So yeah.
Tell me your review so we can get to talking about the penises.
Destiny came out last night.
Oh, really?
Or tonight. Yeah. So I went to the midnight release. It was such a packed house. There were 3 people.
Really? Well, I mean, I saw some of your video and I saw that there was a decent line. It was maybe 15 people.
Maybe. It was actually unfortunate because I waited in the store. Okay, so I was in the store and there were 3 people in the store the whole time.
Okay.
And then they're like, all right, go outside. So I go out. I'm like, what? I get pushed outside and I have to go to the end of the line.
Are you serious?
Yeah. I was in the store the whole time thinking I was going to be number 1. I was going to just grab it and then jet. Because I got there 2 hours early.
Yeah.
Because I was anticipating people.
Did the 3 people that were with you get kicked out as well and have to go to the...
Yeah, everybody got... I wasn't just singled out.
Oh my god.
You, the not black one, get out. It was everybody in the store, so...
Okay.
I went to the GameStop ghetto adjacent.
Mm.
Apparently there's another GameStop in the not ghetto, and they're wondering why my cracker ass was at this GameStop. Those are quotes. It's weird because a Jewish man told me that, which is even weirder.
I love how I'm going to mention that you're a Mexican, or you have Mexican descent, and you...
Yeah, I had to tell him, I'm like...
You look Mexican,
I had to,
at least Hawaiian. I mean, Hawaiian is almost Mexican. Hawaiian is American.
It's not even close to Mexican. Hawaii is not Mexican.
Hawaiian is American Mexicans, except chiller. And then real Mexicans are Mexican Mexicans, except dirtier. You know what I mean?
No, I don't. And wow, okay.
I can say that. I'm Puerto Rican.
Backpedal here. Let's go back. And then the other person I was talking to was Asian. So the 2 coworkers were this Jewish guy and this Asian girl. I think she was Asian. Oh my god, she could be black, actually, now that I think about it. She's Blasian wings, you know? You go to Buffalo Wild Wings, and they have the Blasian flavor. Anyway, she was black. Yeah, she wasn't Asian. I don't know why I thought she was Asian.
This is the best description. We've been talking about race for 5 minutes, and we've hit everything, haven't we? What haven't we hit? Icelandic?
We're not playing this game. We're not playing this game. So anyway, I think she was a black woman. She's very nice girl. Way nicer than the other guy who called me a cracker ass and why are you at the ghetto GameStop?
And that was a Jew, right?
I don't believe anything that he said was correct. I was just surprised that he said it, I guess. And I was like, well, I don't know why I came to this one. I guess I could have gone to the nice one.
But there's more people.
Next to the DSW, but instead I went to the bad one next to the Payless, which is weird.
Because he used to work there.
That's not why I went there, though. So I was like, whoa, man. I'm not white. I'm Latino, Italian. I'm close, I guess. He's like, maybe it's just you look white. I'm like, thanks. Is it the J. Crew hoodie? Is it the
You are such a tool. Oh my
Is
god.
it the Oakley glasses that I wear and yeah.
And then you take off your hoodie
I don't know.
and you're
What?
wearing a sleeveless cutout tap out t-shirt.
That's not what white people.
That
That's
is
not what
that is
white
what
people.
you are.
Yeah, but that's not what like normal white people. I
No,
don't think
it's
just walk
it's
around
what
and tap out.
douchey white people wear. Which is what you are. You're like a Latino dude trying to be a douchey white hipster. That is, I think that's like the perfect comparison for you.
Anyway, I got Destiny and I went home. And I played the game and it's great. I'm already level 24?
Okay, quick, let me know. Is this impressive or not?
Level cap's 20?
How are you 24 then?
So the level cap is 20.
Explain this to me.
But the next 10 levels, you have to collect special gear, and then that levels up you separately. So like the experience level cap is 20, and then getting to 30 is a whole other like set of rules you have to like level up by. So just killing things will not level you up. You have to find rare and exotic gear to deck yourself out with.
Okay, and
I spent way too much time playing. Like literally, I had a week of no homework or anything, and I got home and I'm like, I'm just gonna play Destiny until my eyes bleed, and then I did. So I feel bad for myself now.
Right, and you found that glitch, which was on PostGrad Games on YouTube, which you should all check out.
I did find that glitch, and apparently the game is all sorts of glitchy. So weird. I know.
So that was particularly crazy. That was a really cool glitch.
Yeah, you should check it out. You should go to youtube.com/postgrad entertainment.
Or just type in PostGrad Games. Or Destiny
Into-
Glitch. I think we're one of the few that have...
Here, I'll look for it right now.
actual thing.
So, can you hear my typing? Can you hear that? That's typing.
It seems like you're doing a good
I'm
job.
hacking right now.
Oh, are you?
I'm hacking, yeah.
By the way, if you all want to hack and look pro hacking, and by hack I mean pretend to hack, you should go to hackertyper.net, I believe, and all you have to do is just smack your keyboard a lot of times, and it types hacking stuff for you in that, like, green font and everything, and it looks like a pro hack. And you can impress people.
By the way, we're not the only glitch anymore.
Oh, darn.
Unfortunately, another glitch came out, and it was essentially if you just shoot at this cave from a certain distance.
At the same cave you're at, or a different one?
No, a different cave.
Okay.
So this isn't. It's like a small cave. It's only where like it's like kind of a spawn point for minions. So if you shoot at it from a far away of a distance, it just randomly drops weapons.
Really?
So yeah, weapons and armor. So that's what people have been doing.
That's actually a really great glitch. It's better than yours.
Yeah, mine was stupid. The other one is also stupid, but for
yours
actual...
was just crazy. But you picked up all of these like experience orbs, though, didn't you? By just
Yeah.
standing near the person.
Yeah, so I've actually weapons too. So if that happened more often and didn't completely ruin my game, then I would think it.
If the glitch
be
wasn't
viable.
completely useless, it would be useful.
Exactly. What else did I do this week? I learned how to juggle.
Are you serious? Like,
No, I don't know how to. I already know how to juggle. Yeah.
juggle for me at some point.
I will poorly. I know how to juggle poorly.
Okay.
It's the art of great catches, not the art of great throws.
That's true. Yeah.
So juggling master right here.
Okay.
What
else? Anything else? Anything else?
I learned the art of silence.
God, are you serious?
No. Well, kind of. I learned new relaxation techniques.
Oh. Did you go to one of those seminars that they have in the
No.
Or...
No, it's a class. It's an...
Are you serious? You literally took a relaxation class.
No. I'm in behavioral science. I'm in behavioral medicine.
Okay.
And part of one of the easy things that you can prescribe is relaxation techniques.
I was about to say that sounds like a blow up class. It sounds like the Carpe Diem class in Community. All you have to do is seize the day and you get an A. Same thing. All you gotta do is relax and you get an A.
No, it's actually quite a hard course. Well, I wouldn't know. We haven't had any assignments. So anyway, that's all I did. It was pretty boring. I played Destiny.
Right. Yeah.
Played some League of Legends.
How good are you in League of Legends, by the way? Are you decent?
I'm okay. For my level, I'm like level 22.
Okay.
which is 8 levels away from the level cap, and it took me over a year to get there, uh, which is pathetic.
Yeah, but you don't really play League of Legends religiously.
No, but average, I've probably played a lot,
Right.
and I have an overall mostly winning score. It's just, I don't know. I couldn't tell you. It's just really hard to level up in the game. It's actually like its biggest complaint. It is so hard to get to ranked because you have to be level 30 before you can actually start playing ranked matches.
Oh man, really?
Yeah, I don't get it. I'll get there eventually, in like 5 years.
Right, yeah.
I'll get on the pro circuit when I'm 45.
I mean, in that time, you can also practice your speed or one-handed Dorito grabs and munches.
You know the thing horses use to eat hay? That's what I have, but with the Doritos.
That is the grossest picture I've ever seen in my head.
And then I have one of those hamster, like liquid dispenser things with muscle milk. Gotta stay strong with that muscle milk.
That is okay. Can I just say that I've said it before on the podcast, but I'll say it again. I would pay money to see you go to a YuGiOh tournament.
I'm going to one on Wednesday
with muscle milk, your sleeveless tap out T-shirt, your cut off jean shorts, and some weights.
It's unfortunate that I have those. Yeah, all right.
And some weights, and then just like every time that you win, or no, not every time you win. Every time you like do a great move or do a giant combo, you're like, yeah, and you like pump 5
and pound the and after the match, pound the muscle milk and like throw it at the person. Like, do you fucking lift? God damn.
Don't throw it at the person, crush the muscle milk against your forehead, and just let it drop.
What's this bullshit? Get your agents out of here! Shadal! And I do like the jerk off symbol, like with my hand, and I throw it on him. But I don't really, because that's gross. And then like at the end of the game, like the whole night, I take off my tap out shirt, I wave it around, throw it at him. I fucking.
By this point, you'll be completely sweaty, so it'll just be like a glop on the dude's face, like with his just a sweaty tap out T-shirt.
I take my deck and I like rip it in half, like it's a phone book. I don't even need it.
You should just be like, look at this, and just like do the phone book move where you like crouch and like hold it against your stomach and then start ripping at the cards.
I reach over and I grab his deck with my mouth and I just eat it. I just eat his deck.
This is what I think of your Judgment Dragon. Just like grab it and eat it.
Judgment Dragon?
Oh my god.
Is that the one card you know?
No, I just know that you guys always that you guys always complain about Judgment Dragon, so that's the one that I always mention.
I love that card. I wish it was more viable.
Yeah. Right.
Anyway.
It's that one in Big Eye.
Yeah, actually this week I'm playing Bujin Shadals. So
you were working on that deck, weren't you?
I've been working on Bujins for over a year, but the main card in the deck was about $50 a pop.
It was restrictively expensive. That's what the entire deck was.
Yeah, the whole thing was like $300 for this deck.
Right.
But most of the cards just got reprinted, so I was able to buy the whole deck. What I needed from the deck, $30.
Nice. That's not bad.
No, not bad at all. So
does the deck work well though?
It's kind of trashy. Luckily, it works okay. I think pure Bujin would be way better.
Well,
but Shadals, man, I have the cards. I have very expensive cards, so I will use the very expensive cards.
You should do a deck profile at some point, like do the Bujin Shadals and just be like, hey, I wanted to make a random deck that might be garbage, might be not.
Well, actually, it won a really small regionals in Florida like 2 months ago.
Huh.
And that's the only reason I had the idea. I'm like, okay, Bujin Shadals, I dig it, I should do it. But I wanted to see if it was like a new idea or viable. And the guy's deck was kind of shitty.
Right.
It was okay.
Right.
I'm pretty sure he won because everybody else sucked.
Yeah.
So,
right.
Anyway, how was your week, cool guy? I'm the Cognitive Gamer, by the way.
Oh yeah, we didn't actually say our names. Hey, how's it going?
I'm the Cognitive Gamer / Cog Games. I am currently earning my master's degree in experimental psychology. I'm intelligent-ish.
Are you sure?
I don't know. I would consider myself smarter than the average person, But did you know that most people would consider themselves smarter than the average person?
Yes, and
Which
most
therefore
people are.
means that they're not smarter than the average person. Though my GRE scores would say I'm smarter than the average person. Not by much, but damn it, still smarter.
That's true. Mine would too. However, I would imagine that most people are not very intelligent, sadly.
But we are.
Because
Everybody else.
well, we were in the honors bubble in CSU, and that's sort of like it was a double-edged sword because it was great and it gave us awesome opportunities, but at the same time, it shielded us from the stupid reality of the world. You know what I mean?
You're the man who doesn't know how to ship things correctly.
How to ship things correctly? Excuse me, I ship them really well.
You're the man who doesn't plan for things until it's time to actually plan it. Hey, can I spend the night at your place? Yeah, sure. When? Like tomorrow. I'm flying in from out of the country.
Are you kidding me? I totally asked you with a month in advance or more.
I'm just playing with you, cool guy. Anyway,
God, you're the worst. Okay, anyway, so
you hitting that yet?
my week, wow. So my week was pretty decent.
Okay,
so I'm gonna give the good news first, and then the Nymphomaniac news.
Oh God.
So the good news is that I got my first paycheck from the fellowship.
Where are my YuGiOh cards?
So bro, calm down. The point is, I got my first paycheck from not from the university. It was the National Science Foundation won the fellowship, so it's real. I can guarantee that this is real now. It didn't seem real for a while until I got this first paycheck, and then I'm like, those numbers are real. That's fantastic. So
it's like you're pulling one over on you. They're like, you will receive this money if you send money to Nigeria first.
Exactly. Like,
and then
yeah, exactly. Like the National Science Foundation was like, if you will pay for all of our scientists to fly over to Puerto Rico and give us a loan, we will pay you this money. And I'm like, that sounds legitimate and not at all like you switched to Nigeria with National Science Foundation.
You just described NASA in 50 years.
That is awful. That's amazing, and I love it. Anyway, so the point is that was awesome. Now on to my Nymphomaniac news. So,
oh my God.
So you remember?
You decided to watch it on the bus this time instead of the airplane.
No, I was gonna say. You remember how last time I said don't watch it in public transportation, right?
Yeah, no shit.
So,
no shit. Oh.
So instead, I decided to watch it during office hours.
Perfect. Oh my God. What's wrong with you?
Don't worry. No one walked in. It's fine. No one ever goes to office hours.
You know that's on like your school network, right? Like they know what you watch.
Oh, no. My office has its own little router thing. So we have our own internet. That's not the school.
I think they would only see that you went to Netflix. I don't know if they would see.
Right. They wouldn't necessarily get all the packages and stuff. Maybe like half some of the data. I don't know. It depends. But whatever. It doesn't really matter. Screw them. I'm watching whatever I want to watch. If they ask me, I'm like, it's for a podcast. And then they say, why'd you watch it 3 times? And I'll be like, it's for a podcast.
Why is the floor all sticky? It's for a podcast.
Exactly.
I'm doing animal DNA research.
Yeah, analysis.
I dropped it. I dropped it on the floor.
All just protein on the floor. It's denatured. That's a word, right? Yes. Okay. That's it. That one.
It's all reptile dysfunction research.
So anyway, the point is, I watched it during office hours.
Great fun. How dare you?
I watched it during office hours.
Okay.
And also not during office hours. Just whenever I was eating lunch or something. So I watched it in bits and pieces. But the best part was that
Where did you eat your lunch? Was it in public?
No, in my office.
Oh, okay.
And the worst part, not the worst part, but the funny part is that I have one of the other TAs that is teaching the same lab sections as I am. Like, not same lab sections, but same lab. And he is also in that office. So I was watching it, and he just walks in, and I pause it, and I go, okay, I'm going to let you know I'm watching a sex movie. And he was like, that's cool. And I was like, no, you don't understand. It is literally a movie about having sex, and it's directed by a really weird dude from France. And he says, I totally understand. It's okay. I'm going to be over there. And he left, and I was like, if you hear moaning, I apologize. And
then you start moaning.
And he heard moaning. Boy, did he hear moaning. And whipping.
Why did you have headphones in?
That's a really good question.
What? I don't know what I'm more like disturbed by. Is it the fact that your office mate came in and was like, and you said, I'm watching a sex movie. I'm gonna be honest. watching a sex movie, which to most people means porn. And he was just like, "That's cool, man. Do what you do."
Keep on keeping on. That's how it is in Puerto Rico.
Dude, that's weird. Not even a look.
No, I showed him. I like turned it around. I'm like, see, it's on Netflix because that will legitimize my porn watching.
It's net tits.
Exactly.
It's Titflix.
It's a .net domain, so that's how you know that it's legitimate.
it's a .tit domain.
Oh my god. Yeah.
Oh.
But anyway, on the subject of sex, so we watched God's Not Dead, and
what? That's literally the exact opposite.
So yeah, the movie that we watched this week, apart from the Netflix movie, which is Nymphomaniac, and we'll be talking about it in a second. But the main movie that we watched this week, because theaters suck, so here's a movie that also sucked. We have, we're getting off to a good start. We have the movie God's Not Dead. On IMDb, it's got a 5.0 rating. On Rotten Tomatoes, it's got a 17%. With a whopping nothing. Top critic score, 1 fresh, 3 rotten, so 1 to 3 ratio. So what, that's like a 25%? And on Metacritic, it's got a 16%. It is directed by Harold Kronk, and it stars Willie Robertson, Kevin Sorbo, Shane Harper, David A.R. White, Corey Robertson, and Marco Pon. So, please, Cognitive Gamer, give us your one-sentence review.
We should put a disclaimer. This movie is centered about God and religion, so our opinion is not based on if we like or dislike the religion. It's very neutral from that. In fact, we're going to look at it at a very
It's a movie. We're critiquing the movie.
We're critiquing the movie, how it was made, how it was acted, so on and so forth. With that said, praise Allah, and I'll be on to Him. So, I'm kidding. This movie was great.
No, Baba. Anyway,
this movie was great. Probably the best movie I've seen all year. It was a riveting. I can't. This movie was if Christianity had a Lifetime channel movie, it would be on there.
Right?
Yeah.
That is exactly the comparison I made to it after I stopped watching it. Not stopped watching after I was done, but that's what it felt like. It felt like I turned it off. Yeah. That's exactly what it was. It felt like a Christ Time original movie.
Christ Time.
That's going right on the cover.
Why couldn't it? It could still just be Lifetime.
No, it's a Christ Time.
Okay, it's Christ Time. This movie was just. If you want to watch a movie about God and His infinite love, watch what's that other movie we saw about God? God's Still Alive.
No,
seriously, that's what it was like. It was
Heaven is for real.
Heaven is for real. Yes.
Heaven is for real is better than this movie.
Yeah, totally, right?
Yeah.
I mean, so if you're gonna watch a movie that's Christian and that is a better movie. Still not a great movie, but it's a good movie.
It's a decent
compared to this movie.
It's a decent movie.
I'd probably put it at like a 45.
It's a decent movie, but because it's got the God aspect, if you're really heavily religious...
Oh my god, that's not why!
No, it's true though. I don't think it's that good of a movie, but for some people, even though the movie's not good, if it's got the God aspect of it and they're very religious and it resonates with them, they'll think that it's better. And that's true. That's a fact. So if you...
Son of God was also... It was okay.
It was alright. Honestly...
Better budget.
Honestly, no. Give me a one-sentence review. Come on.
Oh, if God's Not Dead?
Yes.
A disjointed, almost manipulative...
Almost?
Okay. A disjointed, manipulative film pushing... It's almost hypocritical in the points that it's trying to make.
Almost?
Okay. All right. We'll dive into it.
I'm going to correct you. In this section that we're going to be talking about, this one, you know how only Siths deal in absolutes? We are Siths right now. We are the dark side, and we will be speaking about absolutes towards this movie. Because it was not good at all. It was garbage. It was terrible. It was... I'm going to give you my one-sentence review. Ready?
Yeah.
Terrible acting, except for the professor.
Except for Duck Dynasty.
Oh my god, no. Horrible celebrity placements, terrible message, awful propaganda film, and awful in general. The only thing that was decently good was the filming, and that's it. And by filming, I mean the quality of it. because
I think that was one of the worst parts about it.
Well, it looked like a heavily processed movie. Like they put a lot into post production. So that's the only thing that was decent about it, and that brought it over a childish movie that that a first year student would make in a film class, and he wasn't even a film major, or she.
So you mentioned the professor's acting. I thought it was horrendous.
Really?
It's also quite bad.
I thought he was the best part of that movie because he really.
Of course you would.
No.
You dirty
atheistic commie that loves the terrorists. Yeah,
I think it's really hard to act well when the script is that bad.
That's true. But the thing that I really enjoyed about the professor's acting was that he really got into his character. And
the kid though. See, I think the kid.
No.
Not the kid. No. During that speech, I was like, all right, this is okay.
No, the kid seemed dishonest and like a total tool bag.
You know how I knew this was a Christian movie? He had a girlfriend, but when they separated, they didn't kiss each other on the lips.
Yes.
They did a cheek kiss. And I'm like, that's not even realistic.
Yep.
Like, come on. Even if you're Christian, you can kiss on the lips.
Yep.
I would know.
Okay. I'm
Catholic, and we kiss on the lips.
Okay, let me explain something about the professor. The professor himself, the writing was god-awful in this entire movie, no pun intended. But the professor really owned his part, and he made you really detest him, because he did a lot of abject, immoral things. It was awful.
Yeah,
he was an awful person. He
was Satan.
And he basically made everyone feel terrible, everyone around him. He had this air of superiority. He had the whole intellectual kind of attitude that was awful. He really made you despise him. And I thought
it not only made you hate him, but hate his ideals, which I think is more. I mean, this film is pretty much pushing that you should have a choice in what you believe. Unfortunately, it makes the case that you should only believe in God, and
not God. No. The Christian Protestant God.
Right. Which, as a Catholic, you know what I mean. That's weird.
Yeah.
The professor. He's the worst philosophy professor I've ever seen.
Yes, he is.
If not the worst professor ever. I don't know how he wasn't sued.
Oh, definitely.
For doing any of those stunts that he pulled at a public university.
Right?
Where everybody was Christian, which I also thought.
Exactly, yeah.
Because we went to a public college, and let me tell you.
Oh, yeah.
Not a lot of Christians.
I mean,
there's a lot of Christians, but I mean, there's variety there.
Yeah, there's a variety. There's a variety of every single type of belief. Like there were friggin' Zoroastrianists and weird, crazy Buddhists, almost akin to the laser lotus Buddhism thing in Community. There was some really weird Buddhist people there, and it was awesome.
You've been watching a lot of Community, haven't you?
I have.
So let's talk about the film.
Okay.
The script was horrendous. And I think not only because apparently it's based off a book. So I think the story, if it kept focused on one story, which is this kid arguing against his teacher, it would have been a better movie for it.
Yes.
Because the two other stories not only distracted, but seemed completely, they were just
unnecessary.
Unnecessary. Especially the reporter. And it was just like to show, I don't know what it was to show. It showed that Dark Dynasty people are Christian, and it showed that a Christian band is Christian. And I didn't get it exactly.
It was just celebrity cameos to have them in there.
And it had nothing to do with the story.
Yeah.
It was really weird. But
they had everything that they hate. That's the thing. They had the liberal media. They had atheists. They had vegetarians, because the liberal media chick was a vegetarian. They had everything. They had a philosophy. They had the intellectual bastions of universities and how bad they are. They had everything. They had atheists in foxholes. Everything.
So you say they, you mean Christians, and
no. I mean specifically the Protestant Christians denomination or the group that made that movie.
Yeah, it was very much opinionated, and it was critical. Like the Duck Dynasty people tried to pen a script.
Yes.
So, like I said, I think it would have benefited a lot by staying with the main story, because it was actually kind of an interesting story.
It was, but see, the thing is, it's based on a book, and then also there's something similar when they pass those stupid little emails around that say the atheist cisgendered police weird philosophy professor greets a class and says, God doesn't exist. And he lifts up his hand with chalk in it. And he says, every single year I've dropped this chalk and God has never stopped it. Does anyone here believe in God? And one person raises his hand courageously and says, I do, Professor. And the professor says, well, then pray that this chalk doesn't break. And the student prayed, and he prayed hard. And the professor let go of the chalk, and the chalk hit his cuff and rolled down his pant leg, unscathed onto the ground. The professor yelped in fear, dropped all of his liberal media books, and ran out of the room in fright. And screaming, and the student stands up calmly, walks to the front of the room, and spreads the gospel of the Lord to everyone. You know, I've received so many of those emails in different variations that are almost the exact same story, and this is what this was. This movie was a glorified chain email.
So the sequel's about a Nigerian prince.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
I want to take a time here. What was the movie company that made this? Pureflix.
Okay.
They have a movie ministry.
What?
Where you can start a movie ministry.
Are you serious?
Check out our film library, select your films. So it's like you can buy these movies for like to show them off. And then you can like have events where you show these films. So yeah. Which is weird because you can I think it costs money and lots of money.
Oh, I'm sure it does.
So that makes it kind of feel slimy to me. That's me.
That's because it is?
Yeah, it's really weird. On top of that, you can become an advocate, which pretty much you can donate, and they can test drive a movie ministry. You can there's a blog.
Wow.
I don't know. It's really weird the fact that you can do this subscription thing with their movies. Yeah. Their movies include we have Redeemed, My Hope America, The Book of Daniel, Taken by Grace. Revelation Road, The Beginning of the End, Hopeful Notes, Jerusalem Countdown, which by the way has I think the same cover as White House Down.
Are you serious?
Yeah, it's the White House with two flags, but one's American, one's Jerusalem, and there's a target over the White House with a helicopter and explosions in the back.
Oh my god.
The Encounter, Sarah's Choice, Saving Winston, The Bill Collector. Oh my god. No, never mind. Wait. Yeah, that's Danny Trejo.
Are you serious?
Yeah. I mean, he was also in Ghostquake.
He's in a lot of really bad movies, so.
In the blink of an eye, Running Inside Out, Forgiven, The Rally, Breaking. Point is, there's a lot of movies that nobody's ever heard of.
No, okay, no. Take that entire list, everyone that has just heard the podcast and just heard this. Take that entire list and put that on your list of movies to never watch and never recommend to anyone and forget about completely. Okay?
Well, I don't some of them might be Taken with Grace. Yep. Literally looks like Taken.
Yes.
On the night that he is released from prison, Lucas Blackstone sets out for a town of Trinity to find a man who murdered his son. Armed with a pistol and a past full of mistakes, Lucas kidnaps Sean Everett and his wife Carrie, who is Haley Duff, and holds them hostage. As a trio travels to Trinity, Lucas learns of Sean and Carrie's troubled marriage and questions their ability to reconcile their love through their faith in God. But Lucas has no interest in their faith, that is, until he discovers the horrible truth about his son's killer. So the point is that they're almost like movie alternatives. If you are a Christian, or you have a Christian family, and you are tired of what Hollywood is coming out with because it's liberal agenda, then these are fine alternatives.
No, they're not. They're not. I would never, ever, ever recommend God's Not Dead. And the worst part about it was that in the end, they said text everyone this. And that is the worst thing that I've ever seen in any movie ever. Any movie that does that says, tell all of your friends this, no matter what the message is, that movie is awful. No. You can do that in a documentary. Yes, because it's a documentary. Or maybe in a biopic. Maybe. But in a movie, screw you. No, that was terrible. And it was like watching a 2-hour long infomercial. And it was the worst. I hated this movie. I hated it. But see, I hate it more now. While I was watching it, I was laughing the entire time because it was so bad and so stupid. But now, it really bothers me that this movie exists and that it made so much money and that people actually went to see it and enjoyed it. It pisses me off.
I think if it's not your thing, it's totally your thing. But it's not a good movie.
No,
From a movie standpoint, it is not a good movie.
not at all.
But if you like Christian films, which cannot come through normal Hollywood America, usually,
yes,
unless
it can. Yes, it
well,
can.
Exodus. Well, Exodus is coming out, and
Exodus
that's
and Noah and
all right. Well, no, I think some people would get mad at you for that.
why would some
I
people?
know
get
we
mad?
already talked about it. Let's not bring up that again. The point is, it's a bad movie from a movie standpoint.
It is. It definitely is. No, 100%. This movie is awful, terrible, awful, awful, terrible. And the worst part is that Christian America, or more like Judeo-Christian America, deserves a good movie that's not animated, because I love the Joseph King of Dreams and all of those movies. They're great. They're really great animated films. At least I enjoyed them. And
Right.
They deserve good movies, and all they're getting is garbage. This movie is garbage. And Heaven is for Real was also blah. It was just stupid. And it's almost like, come on, someone make a good Christian movie, because that would be so cool. I would love to see a good movie that's also Christian. Why the hell not? Same as I would love to see a good movie that's also any other religion. It would be great. But no. Instead, we get garbage and terrible propaganda.
I think the closest thing to spirituality was Life of Pi, right? Like that whole
Yes.
movie was, and that was a great movie.
Yeah, that movie
It sure
was
wasn't.
so good.
It wasn't exclusively Judeo-Christian, but it was talking about faith and how you should believe.
And God,
And I thought that was
Jesus and everything. Yeah. It was amazing. Oh, it's something.
So yeah, God's Not Dead is on. But I have to disagree with the movie title, because God is dead. Because if God was here, Nymphomaniac 2 would not be a movie.
Oh my God.
I'm sorry. Can we just talk about Nymphomaniac 2 now?
Okay, wait a second. Let me
because I have been rage, just filled with rage.
All right. Before we move on, first off, we would not recommend this movie at all. God is Not Dead. First of all,
it's a bad movie.
It's a bad movie. Don't watch it.
It's no brass tea kettle.
And are you kidding me? It is worse. You know what I would give this movie, God's Not Dead? As close to a 0 as humanly possible. I would give this movie a 1%. I would give this movie a 0.00000000001%.
You know what movie I would give a 0.000%?
Nymphomaniac. But wait, I'm not done yet. I also want to give a little bit of context that we did not give. The movie starts off with the professor saying that Nietzsche said God's not dead. Nietzsche didn't say that. That was one of his characters in one of his books that he wrote, saying that from that point of view. And number 2, the full context of the quote is God's dead and man has killed him. And you know what? If God were to be dead, the people that made this movie would have killed him because of this movie.
So let's talk about the final message, because the final message is essentially what it's trying to say is that this professor was incorrect, that these people should have a choice in signing if God is dead, but their choice is only that he's alive. And I think,
and not just that, but their choice is also either God is real or you're gonna die. That's literally the choice.
Not to mention the entire storyline that's very anti-Islamic.
Oh, anti-everything. It's anti-woman, it's anti-Islamic, it's anti-everything.
Yeah.
It's almost
I just want to touch that one.
Almost anti like established marriage kind of thing, like relationship. It's anti almost everything.
Which is not Christian, I think, right? Like Christians should love everybody for who they are. Yeah. And this movie does not he did not go to the professor and say, you hate God, but God still loves you. It was, you hate God, get the hell out.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
yeah.
And I think that's very counter to the point of what this movie was even trying to say in the first place.
Right.
So yeah, I know, I agree. This movie's garbage.
Yeah. And I want to say one last thing. That he had to present like once a week or once every class for 3 classes to try and prove that God existed. That was the thing. And his PowerPoints were not PowerPoints. A person like him would not have been able to teach himself the type of stuff.
That's the biggest flaw with the movie. Is that his PowerPoints?
He would not have been able to learn the type of stuff he needed to learn to be able to do those kinds of special effects. How
do you know he was a special effects savant in high school?
No. Are you kidding me? Did you see those? That was like Answers in Genesis material. That was crazy. His PowerPoint was a movie. He had a movie that he made literally in like a day. Because if let's assume that the classes were Monday, Wednesday, Friday, that means that the professor assigned it on Monday. He had one day to make an entire full animation and write his script and write what he was gonna say to present it on Wednesday, and then that after that he had to write a full other one based on the stuff the professor had given him or the critiques that he had said for Friday, and then an entire weekend which he basically spent fighting with other people and traveling around. No way. No way.
I'm also going to say something.
It's a movie that wants so much to be real and to impart real wisdom, but lives in this fantasy world where everyone in a room, except for one person, will deny God. And then at the end, everyone in the room will immediately turn to the other side based on 3 days of an idiot's
Which is
lie.
Christian, automatically.
Yeah, no, exactly. And apart from that, the worst sin that this movie had was the fact that the class was full. Why would the class be full? It's a college class. Have an empty chair in there. My God.
Have somebody completely drunk off their ass, passed out in the corner.
A dude sitting in the back with glasses on, like something. Give me reality. I'm done.
So the budget for this movie was $2 million. How much did it make?
I don't even want to know. I hate it.
$62 million.
How much?
62. Almost 63. It made $60 million. That's just box office. That's not to mention DVD sales. That's not to mention this deal that they have for the movie ministry that they have going. That's not to mention the songs and everything else.
You know what gives me hope? And it's the fact that I have a lot of very religious friends that detested this movie. And I really, really like that. Because it's the thing that you were saying, which is why you had to start with a disclaimer in the beginning, and I was vehemently against it, and I will just say it's crap. Because as soon as we start talking about this movie and we say that we don't like it, people will immediately think that we're terrible people or that we're atheists or that we're pulling the agenda and blah, 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 and a bunch of stuff and that we hate God. But no.
That's not true at all.
And that's the problem.
This was just a bad movie.
That's the problem with it. It's the fact that you can't talk about it without being called out and almost burned at the stake for it. It's terrible. And I really enjoy the fact that some of my friends that are really religious and Christian said that it was bad. I really like that. It was a big change that I really enjoyed because it says nothing about God. It says nothing about anything that you believe in. It just says that it's a bad movie.
Well, it does say stuff about God, especially when it's Duck Dynasty saying it. Which, if you're going to listen to somebody on Infinite Wisdom, it's the cast of Duck Dynasty.
Oh my God.
Or a Christian rock band.
Anyway, oh my God, no, screw it. Let's go on to Nymphomaniac. That's a good segue because I said screw it. Okay, so.
Bad pun.
So anyway, Nymphomaniac. For our Netflix movie spotlight, totally not sponsored by Netflix. Yes, we watched Nymphomaniac, the second one, Volume 2.
The second one.
Nymphomaniac.
Double penetration.
So on IMDb, it's got a 6.8 rating. On Rotten Tomatoes, it's got a 60 with a 45 top critic score. And on Metacritic, it's got a 60%. It is directed by Mr. Von Trier, and it stars everyone from the first movie. Okay, so... That's
such a lame way to put it. Charlotte Gainsbourg, Stellan Skarsgård, Stacey Martin, Shia LaBeouf, who's not famous anymore, Christian Slater, Uma Thurman, Sophie Kennedy-Clark, Connie Nielsen, Jamie Bell, Willem Dafoe, Mia Goth, Michel Bez, Jean-Marc Barr, and Udo Kier.
We're done. Okay.
Cinematography by Manuel Alberto Claro.
Okay, we're done.
Edited by
We're done.
Molly Marlene Steinsgard.
So give me...
The production company was Entropa Entertainments. I'm Matt Film. Okay.
Give me your one-sentence review.
It was distributed by Les Films du Losange in France, and in Germany, Concorde de Film Verde. Wow. And in the United States, Magnolia Pictures.
So give me your one-sentence review, Cognitive Gamer.
This is probably the worst movie I've seen ever.
Are you serious?
Oh my God, this movie was terrible.
Yeah.
I could not stop. The first movie, okay? It almost had a charm about it. It had a wit.
It did.
The second movie is devoid of any of the emotions that the first volume came on. It's like a B-side to a record. It's just not very good. It's like the songs that could have been, but shouldn't have been in the first place.
See, okay, that's actually a really great way to describe it. Okay, so I think you're completely right. So let me give my one sentence review. It takes everything that was good about the movie. Let's say about the first one. Let's say the first one is about. Let's put it at like volume wise on a amp or something. Let's say it was at 7. This movie
Okay.
takes it up to 12 and then rips the thing out.
It's like you blew out your eardrums.
Yeah.
Because that would actually be more comforting than watching this movie. Like it's so bad.
The problem that this bit had, that part 2 was, now we're gonna start talking about it. So the point is, it's I wouldn't call it bad.
What would you call it?
It was just blah. It had no redeeming qualities, but it also didn't have anything knocking it down. It was just sort of blah. It was filmed decently well. It was edited really weirdly. The characters are really strange, and then when they switched from the young to the old characters, it was a really weird
With
change.
no explanation whatsoever.
Yeah.
I get it. That's like supposed to be. This is like how she perceives that person at that time, and this is how I perceive myself at that time.
Yeah.
Like I get it. It's like exploring like the self narration, but translated to film.
And
I get it.
Yeah, and then it just got it lost the weird charm, like you were saying on the first one, the weird dark humor and stuff like that of it.
Completely gone. I think the funniest scene is with the African men.
Yes.
And she was just like in middle, and it was framed with the two penises
just
in
flopping
her
around.
middle.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's kind of funny because it's just so awkward.
Yeah.
And that was it. After that, it was devoid. It was disgusting. It was slow. There was no point. Like the whole point of this film is that what I got from it anyway was her choice.
Yeah.
It was her choice to ultimately do any of this.
Yeah.
And the final scene just hammered that home. But it was also so disjointed.
It was.
So unnecessary. So
yeah, the worst part is that this movie almost felt like if you were, or not just this movie, but both of them together, it felt like if you were reading some sort of like legal paper on Nymphomaniac or on Nymphomania, not like legal, but let's say like a bill, some sort of a political bill, where it goes like, all right, so in volume 2, chapter 3, we have L. You know, like it was subdivided and then subdivided again and then coded with people's names, and it was
okay. The first movie I enjoyed more than I was anticipating. I'll be honest. I thought it was going to be a 0. I gave it a 6.5.
yeah.
This movie is everything I expected from this series, and maybe it's because of that such contrast from the first thing, being like, all right, that was pleasantly okay. Like it wouldn't be my first choice to watch ever, but I probably would never watch it again. But I didn't mind watching it. Volume 2, no, it made no sense. So what was the whole thing with her all of a sudden going to organized crime as some kind of like penis whisperer?
That is exactly what she was, wasn't she? Well,
yeah, that's exactly what she was.
It's because she has a very particular set of skills that make her very dangerous to men
and women, apparently.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And then how did that girl end up with her ex-husband?
It's just that the movie itself tries to have a ton of coincidences to be able to keep using its cast. It overextends itself. 2 movies, so. And
not to mention, if this was the uncut edition, god damn it, the first movie would be 2.5 hours almost. The third movie would be 3 hours. That's 5 hours. Yeah. Like this same problem I had with the first movie. If Von Trier was able to cut this out, not make it so long, focus down, get rid of some chapters, it would have been great. Like not great, but good. Right? If it was one movie, it was about her making these weird allegories that had the tone of the first movie. You cut out everything to do with pretty much everything from the mirror and half of the gun, and you make it just about her, like, finding true love and then losing her nymphomaniac and then leaving her family and then finding out her family, like, is cheating on her and she goes crazy. Like, that's okay.
Yeah,
I think that would have been...
Yeah, exactly. Like, maybe... Yeah, exactly. What you were saying, have all that, and then jump from when she was young, and have the second movie be about her life just in organized crime, and have it be something like she found her way there, and she was using like the stuff that she had learned, but also other things and stuff. You don't show the part about the whip because that was stupid.
Yeah, that was really.
And
what was that? I mean, I get it.
Yeah.
Again, it was pointing. It was to drive home the fact she chose to do that. She's choosing to do this. This is her choice.
Exactly. Yeah.
And then at the end, when the first sex-related thing, she was about to get raped. Essentially, I'll just say it.
Okay. Spoilers. Even though no one.
Don't watch this movie. Don't watch this movie.
Okay, so go on.
She's about to be. So the person that she's narrating to, eventually, says that he's asexual, that he has like great self-control, he has no emotion, whatever. At the end of the film, he comes in to rape
her.
God,
which is
Joe,
which is something we were all expecting.
Were you? I was kind of like, I wasn't quite expecting that per se.
I wasn't expecting that, but then again, I'm just not used to that kind of stuff. But I was expecting him to try and have sex with her, definitely. Then he said, Then he said he was asexual, and I was like, well, I guess that's okay. But then at the end, it was like, okay, he's gonna go have sex with her. Like, it just seemed like near the end, he seemed like he was breaking from his original character.
Yeah, and I don't know why he seemed different, but maybe it was because he wasn't making analogies the whole time.
That's true, yeah.
Like, the first analogy was, like, the church, and then, anyway.
Yeah.
Which I'm not quite sure what that was supposed to be anyway. There's definitely something going on, like, underneath this film.
There's something Lars von Trier intended, but whether he got it across is a different matter. I'm pretty sure I understood, because I'm pretty sure I understood a lot of the metaphors and a lot of the things that he was comparing to, mostly because of the fact that the person did all of the metaphor stuff in the stories and then basically repeated the metaphors again when they were talking.
Right. So anyway, the one thing that wasn't against her will, which was that she was going to get raped, even though she's done all these horrible things and whatever, still is no justification, and she kills him.
Yeah.
Which, one, I think that whole scene was weird and kind of clumsily done.
It was unnecessary. It could have literally just been like, okay, well, it's time for you to go to sleep. Have a good night, okay? I'm sure it'll all be better in the morning. And then like a slow zoom into the beam of sunlight. That could have been a way better ending.
Or it could have been like, him asking like, "Do you want to have sex with me?" And she's gonna be like, "No," and then he just disappears.
Or not just that, or he could have said like, "Good choice, done."
Yeah,
like something.
But
like
instead,
that.
And he didn't even like offer bits of wisdom at the end. It was just like, "But you slept with hundreds of men. Even though I have all this infinite wisdom, I've been giving you this whole movie. I'm going to come up with the worst excuse ever to ever do that type of thing to a person."
Though,
and then you killed me.
The one part that I did enjoy about this section of the movie was when she was staring at the sunbeam, and then he was explaining that that's the only sun that they get in this area, and she said that it was beautiful, and that was actually really good, because in the beginning she said that she had demanded more of the sunrise, but for that moment, after she had been through everything, just a beam of sunlight, just a small sunburst was enough, and that was cool. That was a really cool metaphor. That was a really cool scene, a really good moment. But apart from that, nothing.
So what would you give this movie?
I mean, I sat through it because I wanted to know. So the first one primed you pretty well. I guess I would give it maybe like a 25.
I'd give it about a 10.
All right.
So
yeah, I don't think it's that good. It just lost what it had, and it had something. It had captured something in the first one. It had something going for it, but then again, it's because the cast was charming.
I think it was the cast. I think it was
the ambitiousness of it too, I guess.
I feel like he had to really hit it home with one. And with two, which was only released a couple months apart.
Yeah.
Maybe something got lost in translation there.
Yeah.
The fact that that's not a lot of time between the first and second film.
Oh, not at all. But I mean, they got filmed at the same time.
Yeah, but that's more like editing time that could have been put into it. That's more, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Who knows? Who knows?
All right. Anyway, yeah. So that's Nymphomaniac. So.
Did you know there's an uncensored version?
So let's talk about that slow zoom into her vagina.
No.
When she was getting whipped. How weird was that shot?
Oh, the whole thing with Kay is weird. Like the editing between like him jumping between everything.
Yeah.
That was weird. It was really brutal of a scene.
It was.
Yeah.
He was a
whole thing.
person. He was like a machine.
I also think those are some of the most like nicely framed shots.
They were. That entire section was really well done, and it made you feel really in pain. Really in pain.
Yeah, the whole. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, in Denmark, where the complete director's cut has had its general release world premiere on the 10th of September 2014, all major critics gave it the highest possible rating.
Are you kidding me? Wait, the volume 2?
No. This is the director's cut.
The director's cut is of both of them, or the first?
So it was the 5.5 hour rendition of this film.
Of Nymphomaniac, period. So both
Of the
volumes.
whole, it's both 1 and 2, and everybody gave it a perfect score. Apparently, 5.5 hours.
Wow. Nope.
So I don't know what that means about
Reviewers in Denmark.
Well, it was the critic score.
Right.
But yeah, this was the uncut,
Uncensored?
Yeah.
I mean, it's already uncensored. What were they doing? Anal? I mean...
It adds an hour and a half to the film, so...
Alright. Anyway, I want to let everybody know that we have achieved one of the things that we set out to do on this podcast, or at least that I set out to do, which was to watch Nymphomaniac. So right now, we have achieved that. Congratulations, everybody. Give yourself a round of applause. Cognitive Gamer. Congratulations.
Thank you.
We watched Nymphomaniac. Alright, so moving on to new on DVD and Blu-ray in theaters this week. New on DVD and Blu-ray first, we have Willow Creek, God's Pockets, Brick Mansions, The Hornet's Nest, Louder Than Words, Words in Pictures, My Man is a Loser, Last Passenger, and Ida. And in theaters, we have Dolphin Tale 2, No Good Deed, The Disappearance of Eleanor, Rigby, Them. And this is limited release, and all of the following ones are also limited release. The Drop, The Skeleton Twins, and My Old Lady. It's a whatever week for theaters. We'll see what we find. But anyway, moving on to news. On news this week, we have one very important one, which is that Bill Murray revealed the women that he would choose for Ghostbusters 3. And he said he would like to see Linda Cardellini from Mad Men, Emma Stone, and Melissa McCarthy, and also Kristen Wiig.
Of course, Kristen Wiig, right?
Oh, definitely. Kristen Wiig would be fantastic. And also Melissa McCarthy. They work well together. It kind of makes sense for them to be like that. Emma Stone would be interesting working with them, but I don't know if they have the same kind of chemistry. If you had to choose 3 women or 4 women to be the next, let's say 3, to be the next, no 4, to be the next Ghostbusters, who would they be?
Whoopi Goldberg, Rosie O'Donnell.
Are you serious?
And Honey Boo Boo, his mom.
What about Amy Poehler or Tina Fey?
Yeah, but that's too serious.
Well, yeah, I'm genuinely asking you. Like,
Whoopi Goldberg, like for realsies.
Whoopi Goldberg would be great. I honestly think that Kristen Wiig would be great.
I do too. Who's April from Parks and Rec?
But she's too young.
No, she's not.
Yeah, if we're getting a cast that includes Whoopi Goldberg.
Did you see the Ghostbusters animated series in the 90s where they had a female who was like young? She was like an intern. Boom, right there.
All right, okay, I can see that. But I mean, that would make sense for the second movie. So the first movie introduces the female Ghostbusters, and then the second movie would be interns.
I'm glad you're already planning the hypothetical sequel.
They write themselves.
That's a hard question. I don't know.
I honestly,
Julianne Moore, because I think she's awesome.
Number 1, Kristen Wiig.
She's in everything.
Kristen Wiig would be awesome. That's definitely for sure.
All right.
Well,
I said Whoopi Goldberg.
Okay, so Whoopi Goldberg, Kristen Wiig. I think Melissa McCarthy would be good, and one more.
The woman from The Daily Show, the one that does the voice in Bob's Burgers, perhaps.
All right.
No, not that's a man.
I know it's a man.
The one that plays Louise. It's John Benjamin, actually.
So the next bit of news is actually related to this, which is the fact that Kristen Wiig said, "That's very flattering. I guess they're making one from what I hear, which is pretty great in relation to Ghostbusters 3. And then later on, she said, I will do whatever Bill Murray tells me to. So yes, there you go.
Fantastic. All right, next news.
So I mean, it's good. And if they do make it and they don't have Kristen Wiig, that's kind of going to make me kind of sad. But it's okay. Anyway, next bit of news, which is the last bit of news. This week has been kind of slow for news. It is The Theory of Everything, the biopic about Stephen Hawking, which I'm really excited about. I can't tell you how excited I am because I just want to watch that and cry. And the news is that the movie recently premiered in the film festival circuit, and it brought Stephen Hawking to tears.
Oh.
Which is so nice. Like, could you imagine that, though? Like,
It's a little egotistical. I mean, Kanye West listens to his own albums and he cries.
no, well, Kanye West is a jack off. I'm talking about like he saw it and he said like it's a very broadly accurate movie, which coming from a physicist is something because he could have been like no, but instead he was like, you know what, it's actually pretty correct, that entire thing, which is so nice. And the fact that he cried, I mean, could you imagine that? Like, could you imagine seeing yourself in a movie when you were younger and could walk and talk and move by yourself? Like, how crazy is that? You know, it just kind of, I don't know, it just blows my mind, and it makes it sort of like really sweet, you know, kind of bittersweet, but really sweet at the same time.
I think we need more biopics on scientists.
I think so too. Like one for that one from what is it, Mission Blue? She deserves a biopic. That would be awesome.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, but yeah, those are the small bits of news. So, needless to say, as soon as Theory of Everything comes out, I'm going to watch it, and I believe it comes out November 7th, if I am not mistaken. Yes. So,
but if we travel forward in time, we would already have seen it. So let's plan a party for next week.
Okay.
Asking us to come back in time and tell us about the movie.
Okay, cool.
What time next week? Like
next week?
7 p.m. Monday?
Yes, 7 p.m. Monday next week. Meet us there ourselves. Anyway, that is it for everything that we've been doing. So thank you all for watching. I'm Kulguy, like we mentioned halfway through the podcast. He's the Cognitive Gamer. You can follow me at the right pad. Follow him at Cognitive Gamer on Twitter, obviously. You can check us out on PostGrad Entertainment on Facebook or facebook.com/postgradent. We post all of the latest trailers, movie news, and stuff from our YouTube channel as well, which is PostGrad Games. You can check us out there playing a ton of video games, which is always great. And, I mean, if that's not your thing, we also have the older podcasts and all that jazz, so you can also check it out there. The podcast is on Podomatic and on iTunes, so if you want it to be on your RSS feed, just subscribe to it on iTunes. Also, if you have any comments, critiques, suggestions, words of praise, and loving us and whatnot, you can send it to our email or to the Facebook. Our email is postgradentertainment@gmail.com. And with that, we'll see you next week. Right, Cognitive Gamer?
So, I have the reviews here from Denmark, who saw the director's cut.
Okay.
This is cinema of the big stuff. I have seen a film at half its time that felt much longer. Another critic, Ralph Christensen, slightly overpopulated of the director's whims, some places lost in thought, bit of trouble in his polyphonic composition and lengthy narrative, but also for the same reason, extremely diverse and uncompromising work. Blissful, funny, horrifying.
I mean, like that. Those last three words are really, like they really encapsulate the thing. Except for the fact that I would put them in that exact same order. Blissful and funny would be for the first one, and horrifying would be for the last one.
I really like this one from Ken Scott. It is rather due to its demanding length and its unrestrained narrative freedom that almost spits film and cinema conventions of the face that Nymphomaniac will remain as a degenerate film classic. Film has its weak points, but I've never seen before. So essentially saying this movie is going against
everything,
every convention, which is exactly the same point of Joe's adventure. Is it goes against every convention and it's her choice to do it all. And God.
And it was mentioned. They said it explicitly in the movie. That entire movie was explicit, both in the narrative and in what happened.
And subtle with its explicitity.
All right.
God.
We'll see you next.
Damn.